My name is Grace Nguyen, and I'm 35 years old, a single mother and accountant living in the misty embrace of Seattle. For as long as I can remember, I've been the unseen thread holding my family together, the one who mends their fractures without ever asking for a spotlight. My parents, Lynn and Bao, fled Vietnam in 1975 with nothing but courage, building Nguyen Tech into a towering tech empire that powers half the city's startups. I was their eldest, expected to blaze a trail of glory, but I chose a quieter path, one of numbers and stability, raising my 8-year-old son, Liam, with a heart full of love. My mother saw it as settling. My brother, Ethan, their golden child, saw it as quaint. At Nguyen Tech's 25th anniversary gala, I thought I'd endure another night of their dismissal, a familiar ache I'd learned to carry. But what unfolded was a reckoning, a truth buried for years, rising to rewrite our family's story and my place in it. If you're watching from a corner of the world where your family dims your light, drop a comment below, hit like, and subscribe. This story might just kindle the fire you need to shine. Our family home in Seattle's Green Lake suburb was a cedar-shingled haven where the scent of pho simmering on Sundays mingled with the hum of ambition. Lynn, my mother, was the CEO of Nguyen Tech, her mind a steel trap, her tongue a whip that shaped our dreams. Bao, my father, was a coder with a poet's soul, his gentle hands crafting software that connected the world, though he shied from family conflicts, leaving Lynn to reign. Ethan, 5 years younger, was their son. Charismatic, bold, a boy who could talk his way out of a monsoon. I loved him with a sister's fierce devotion, from teaching him to tie his shoes to staying up late to edit his high school speeches. But Mom's words were a constant refrain. Ethan will make the Nguyen name immortal, Grace. You're too cautious, too small. Numbers were my sanctuary, their logic a fortress against Mom's relentless expectations. At 22, a college senior studying finance, I interned at Nguyen Tech during the 2008 financial crisis, a time when the world seemed to crumble. The company stood on the brink of collapse, its loans called in, its future a flicker. I worked nights in a cluttered office, fueled by instant noodles and sheer will, my eyes burning from spreadsheets. I crafted a restructuring plan, a lifeline of numbers that convinced banks to extend our credit. I stood in boardrooms, a young woman facing executives twice my age, my voice steady despite my trembling knees. I argued for Nguyen Tech's survival, my charts a shield, my passion a sword. Dad hugged me after, his voice thick. You saved us, Grace. You're our hero. Lynn, lips pursed, said, It's just paperwork. Don't let it go to your head. That moment seared me, pride laced with pain, my triumph reduced to a footnote. I carried it forward, becoming a senior accountant at a Seattle firm, managing budgets for nonprofits that fed the hungry, sheltered the homeless, and taught children to read. I loved my work, its impact etched in lives saved, not headlines won. But to Mom, it was safe, uninspired. To Ethan, it was cute, but small time. When I had Liam at 27, after a marriage that ended with mutual respect, my world narrowed to his laughter, his crayon drawings, his endless questions. Mom saw only failure. A single mother, Grace? You could have been so much more. Wintech's 25th anniversary gala was a spectacle, a celebration of our family's rise from refugees to tech royalty. I'd spent months helping Dad plan it, a labor of love I poured into without pay or praise. I crunched numbers to keep costs low, negotiated with vendors for discounts, designed table cards with Mwintech's logo, even proofread the program booklet. Ethan, now COO at 30, took credit in tech blogs, calling it my vision for our legacy. I didn't mind, or so I told myself, happy to see him shine, his star burning bright. The gala was at the Grand Meridian, a downtown Seattle hotel with soaring glass walls and views of Puget Sound's inky waters. Liam and I arrived in our battered SUV, its engine wheezing as we parked among sleek Teslas and Porsches. My navy dress, bought on clearance at Nordstrom Rack, felt plain next to the sequined gowns and silk tuxedos gliding past. Liam's suit, a hand-me-down from a cousin, hung loose on his small frame, but his smile was a beacon, his brown eyes wide with wonder. As we entered the ballroom, chandeliers cast prisms on polished marble floors, and Wintech's logo pulsed on a massive screen, a symbol of our family's triumph. A guest's whisper sliced through the hum of chatter. That's Ethan's sister, just an accountant. Such a waste of the Nguyen blood. I squeezed Liam's hand, guiding him to our table, my smile a fragile mask I'd perfected over years. Mom, in a crimson owl dye embroidered with gold lotus flowers, worked the room like a monarch, her smile dazzling but cold as frost. She glanced at me, her eyes narrowing. Grace, that dress, so practical. You could have tried harder for tonight, for the family. Her tone was a blade, cutting through my calm, leaving a familiar sting. Ethan, in a tailored Armani suit, arm around his wife, Mia, a marketing VP with a diamond necklace glinting like ice, was too busy charming investors to notice us. Mia, sipping a martini, offered a backhanded compliment. Accounting's so steady, Grace. Not like Ethan's world. He's closing a $50 million deal this week, you know. Her smile was polite, but her eyes flicked over me, dismissive. Liam tugged my sleeve, his voice small. Mom, why doesn't Grandma hug you like she hugs Uncle Ethan? I knelt, my heart twisting like a wrung cloth. She's just busy, sweetheart, I said, but the lie burned my tongue. I wasn't just overlooked. I was erased, a ghost in my own family story. My presence tolerated, but not cherished. During the cocktail hour, I needed air, slipping to a lounge area with plush leather couches and a panoramic view of Seattle's skyline, the Space Needle a distant glow. A display caught my eye, an old photo of me at 22, hunched over spreadsheets in Wintech's cramped office, my hair in a messy bun, my eyes fierce with focus. The caption read, Early Days 2008. My breath caught, memories flooding back like a tide. That year, I'd saved the company, my plan keeping 500 employees from losing their livelihoods. I remembered the sleepless nights, my desk littered with coffee cups, my fingers cramped from typing. I recalled the bank meetings, standing before skeptical executives, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I'd argued for Nguyen Tech's survival, my charts a shield, my passion a sword. Dad's quiet pride had warmed me, his hug a rare anchor. Lynn's dismissal had chilled me, her words a weight I still carried. Why was this photo here, a relic of a moment they'd buried. I traced the frame, my fingers lingering on the glass, pride and pain twisting together like vines. For a moment, I was that girl again, invincible, unstoppable, a force who believed she could change the world. Now I felt like a shadow. My contributions faded like ink in rain, my heart heavy with unspoken words. Back in the ballroom, Ethan pulled me aside, his cologne sharp, his smile easy but patronizing. Sis, don't talk about your job tonight, okay? Investors want to hear about AI, blockchain, not balance sheets or nonprofits. His tone was kind, but it stung, as if my life's work was a trivial hobby, unworthy of their stage. I nodded, my throat tight, swallowing the urge to argue, to tell him how my budgets had kept food banks open, how my numbers had built shelters. Mom, meanwhile, introduced me to Vin, a tech mogul in his 40s with a Rolex glinting on his wrist. He could change your life, Grace, she said, her eyes flicking to Liam as if he were a burden. You and Liam deserve more than this. Her gesture encompassed my dress, my life, my choices. I declined politely. I'm happy, Mom. Liam and I are fine. Her sigh was heavy, her disappointment a weight I'd carried for decades. You always choose struggle, Grace. Why? Liam overheard a cousin's jab at our table. Your mom's just a bookkeeper, kid. Ethan's the real Nguyen, making millions. Liam stared at his shoes, his small hands clenched in his lap. I knelt beside him, whispering, You're my hero, Liam. Don't ever forget that. But my voice cracked, and I wondered who I was convincing, him or myself. Dinner was a parade of slights, each one a pebble adding to the load I carried. Lynn's opening speech lauded Ethan as Green Tech's future, our visionary who will lead us to new heights. The crowd of 200 clapped as Ethan stood, his grin dazzling, his voice smooth. This is our family's legacy, built on bold dreams and fearless innovation. I clapped too, my hands mechanical, my chest aching with a familiar pain. Lynn didn't mention my role. Not the budget I'd stretched to make this gala possible. Not the late nights I'd spent ensuring every detail was flawless. Not the years I'd given to keep their dream alive. Ethan's speech followed, thanking Mom and Dad, his charisma filling the room. Nguyen Tech is our heart, our future. I waited, hoping for a nod to me, a single word to acknowledge my part, but none came. The applause drowned out my silence, and I focused on Liam, cutting his chicken, his eyes heavy with questions he didn't voice. I smiled at him, my heart a knot of love and hurt, my resolve wavering under the weight of their indifference. Later, in the lounge, I overheard Mom and Mia, their voices low but clear through a cracked door, their words a dagger I hadn't braced for. Grace lacks ambition, Mom said, her tone laced with pity, as if I were a broken thing. She's content with so little, always playing small. Ethan's our legacy, our pride. Mia agreed, her laugh sharp as glass. She's sweet but so ordinary. Ethan's the one who matters, the one who'll carry Nguyen Tech forward. I froze, my reflection in the lounge's glass doors blurring with unshed tears, my breath shallow. I'd heard their dismissals before, in passing jabs or backhanded sighs, but hearing them so raw, so unguarded, was a punch to the gut, a wound that bled quietly. I slipped away, my heels silent on the carpet, my heart loud in my ears, a drumbeat of hurt and defiance. I wanted to leave, to take Liam and drive home to our small apartment, to our life of bedtime stories and morning pancakes. But something held me. Maybe pride, maybe hope, maybe the stubborn spark that had kept me going all these years. The real blow came when I found a document on Dad's phone, left open on a lounge table where he'd been checking emails during a break. It was a draft announcement, typed in crisp font. Lynn was naming Ethan's sole successor to Nguyen Tech, cutting me out entirely. My name wasn't even mentioned, as if I'd never existed, as if my years of service were air. I wasn't surprised, but the betrayal stung. A cold knife twisting in my chest, its edge sharp with years of silence. I'd never asked for power, only respect, a place at the table I'd helped build. Then a smaller shock, a flicker of light in the dark. Dad's email showed he'd funded a scholarship for low-income students, inspired by my quiet strength during Nguyen-Tech's 2008 crisis. He'd kept it secret, fearing Mom's scorn for anything tied to my lowly work. I found him by the bar, his shoulders slumped, a whiskey in his hand, his face etched with weariness. "Why hide it, Dad?" I asked softly, my voice barely above a whisper, my eyes searching his. He sighed, his gaze distant. "Your mom doesn't see what I see in you, Grace. I didn't want her to tear it down, to mock what matters to you." His honesty disarmed me, a balm and a wound, a reminder of his love and his weakness. I walked away, my coat in hand, unsure if I could stay through the night, my heart a tangle of love, resentment, and a fierce need to be seen. As the gala's keynote began, I stood by the exit, my fingers brushing Liam's hair as he leaned against me, sleepy but stubborn, refusing to leave my side. I considered walking out, driving into the Seattle night, leaving their judgment behind. But Liam's warmth, his small hand in mine, kept me grounded, an anchor in my storm. Then, Dr. Min Tran, a renowned investor with a reputation for spotting hidden gems, took the stage. His presence commanded silence, his voice resonant, cutting through the room's hum like a bell. "Nguyen Tech's story isn't just about tech," he said, his eyes scanning the crowd, his words deliberate. "It's about resilience, about unseen heroes who hold the world together." In 2008, a 22-year-old woman saved this company from ruin. Her financial plan not only kept Nguyen Tech alive, but preserved 500 jobs, families, dreams. That plan inspired my own venture fund, $1 billion legacy. He paused, his gaze finding me in the crowd, his smile warm but piercing. "That woman is Grace Nguyen." The room gasped, a collective intake of breath, a ripple of shock. Liam's eyes widened, his voice a whisper. "Mom, that's you. You're a hero." Min continued, his words measured but powerful, each one landing like a stone in still water. Grace's brilliance didn't stop in 2008. Her work at nonprofits has stabilized communities, from food banks that feed thousands to literacy programs that open futures. Her budgets have saved lives, quietly, without fanfare, a testament to her heart and her mind. Tonight, I'm proud to offer her the CFO role at my global tech conglomerate, with a seven-figure salary and an equity stake that reflects her worth. Applause erupted, a wave of sound that lifted me to my feet, my legs unsteady, my heart racing. Liam clapped wildly, his face glowing with pride, his small hands a thunder of love. Men added, his voice rising over the cheers. Grace has also won the 2025 Financial Leadership Award with a $5 million grant to expand her father's scholarship, now renamed the Grace Nguyen Fund for Future Innovators. The room roared, a standing ovation that shook the chandeliers, glasses clinking, voices rising in awe. Mom's face paled, her wine glass trembling in her hand, her eyes wide with shock. Ethan stared, his mouth open, his usual confidence shattered. Mia muttered, "We always supported her," but her voice faltered, drowned by the crowd's cheers, her words hollow against the truth. I stepped to the stage, my legs trembling, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The spotlight was blinding, its heat a weight, but Liam's face in the crowd steadied me, his smile a beacon. "I didn't do this for recognition," I said, my voice clear despite the lump in my throat, my hands gripping the podium. "I did it for my family, for Liam, for the people who needed help, for the dreams I believed in. I don't need applause. I need respect, the kind you give freely, not when it's forced." The crowd stood again, their cheers a tide that carried me, a wave of validation I hadn't known I craved. Ethan's eyes met mine, glistening with guilt. His head bowed slightly. Mom looked away, her perfect facade cracking like thin ice, her hands clasped tight. Dad's face held quiet pride, his eyes wet, his hands clasped as if in prayer. As I left the stage, Min gripped my hand, his voice low and firm. "You've been their backbone, Grace. They'll see it now, or they'll lose you." After Min's speech, the gala buzzed with whispers, a current of awe and curiosity that followed me like a shadow. Guests approached, offering business cards, their voices warm with praise. "I had no idea, Grace. You're incredible. You're an inspiration, truly." I nodded, polite but overwhelmed, my mind replaying Min's words, my heart still racing. Mom pulled me to a quiet corner, Ethan and Dad trailing behind, their faces a mix of shock, shame, and something softer, regret perhaps. "Grace, why didn't you tell us?" Mom demanded, but her voice wavered, her eyes glistening, her hands twisting her silk scarf. "I tried, Mom," I said, my voice steady but raw, my eyes meeting hers. "I told you about 2008, about my work, but you didn't listen. You saw Ethan's dreams, not mine. You chose his light over mine." Dad spoke up, his voice soft, cracking. "I funded that scholarship because of you, Grace. I saw your strength, even if I didn't say it. I'm sorry I stayed quiet." His honesty pierced me, a balm and a wound, a reminder of his love and his weakness. Ethan stepped forward, his head bowed, his voice thick with emotion. "Sis, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I was wrong to dismiss you. You're the real hero here." Mom's composure broke, tears streaking her flawless makeup, her voice barely audible. "I was jealous, Grace. You're so strong, so independent, so much more than I ever was. I thought you didn't need me, that you were better than me." Her confession, raw and unguarded, hit me like a wave, a truth I hadn't expected. I'd spent years craving her approval, chasing her pride, but hearing her vulnerability shifted something in me, a crack in the wall I'd built. I needed your respect, Mom, I said, my voice firm but not cruel, my hand steady. Not your approval, not your control, just respect, the kind you give Ethan without question. She nodded, tears falling freely, her hands reaching for mine. I let her hold them, but I didn't soften yet, my heart still guarding its wounds. Ethan spoke, his voice earnest, his eyes searching mine. Co-lead Wintech with me, sis. I mean it. We need you, not just as family, but as our strength, our mind, our heart. I didn't answer, the weight of his offer heavy, my heart still processing the night's revelations. Later, Liam and I slipped out to the hotel's rooftop terrace, the night air cool against my flushed skin, the stars faint above Seattle's glow. The skyline glittered, the Space Needle a beacon in the dark, its reflection shimmering on Puget Sound's inky waters. Liam leaned against me, his voice sleepy but bright. "Are you a hero, Mom?" I chuckled, brushing his hair from his eyes, my throat tight with love. "Just a mom who keeps going, kiddo," I said, my voice soft. "And you're my hero, always." The city pulsed below, a canvas of possibility, a tapestry of dreams I'd weave on my terms. I'd take the CFO role, not for fame or to prove them wrong, but for Liam and me, for the life we deserved, the future we'd shape together. And Gwen Tech's legacy wasn't just tech or Ethan's charisma. It was the quiet courage to stand tall, even when unseen, to love a family flawed but trying, to build a world where Liam could shine. The weeks after were raw, a slow untangling of years of hurt and silence. Mom started therapy, grappling with her need to control, sending me tentative texts about her sessions, her voice softer on calls. Dad found his voice, advocating for me at board meetings, his pride no longer hidden, his hugs tighter. Ethan and I became a team, co-planning Wintech's next chapter, his respect a bridge we rebuilt daily, his laughter a reminder of the brother I'd always loved. I set boundaries with a steady hand. No more slights, no more erasure, no more shadows for me or Liam. Liam's pride in me grew, his crayon drawings now showing Supermom with a calculator and a cape, his smile brighter than any spotlight, his hugs a warmth that healed. If you've ever felt invisible to your family, know this. Your worth isn't their applause, their approval, or their gaze. It's the lives you touch, the truth you hold, the quiet moments you rise from stronger than before. I'd love to hear your stories. Have you faced family dismissal, felt unseen? How did you find your strength, your voice? Drop a comment below, and subscribe for more stories that lift you up, that remind you you're enough.